My stream this weekend is going to be very interesting. It really isn't going to be basically anything to do with Forest v Preston, because who actually cares? No one does. So as we are at the final day of the season, I thought it would be cool if I was to try and do predictions for each game. And I may very well try and do this next season a little bit more often. So let me know in the comments below if this is something you'd like me to try and do like weekly predictions for each championship match week. I can definitely consider doing it. There's going to be quite a few interesting ones in here, a lot of dead rubbers. Blackburn Rovers against Birmingham City. 15th against 18th, it really isn't anything special at all. Rovers have been very disappointing this season, to be honest. I think a lot of people thought they'd do better. They've had a very good start to the season, of course, but they've really tailed off. Remember when we beat them, that was like their 4th defeat in a row. I'm surprised, I will be surprised in fact, if Tony Mowbray is still there next season, to be honest, because maybe it's just time to freshen it up for Blackburn. Birmingham, though, have been completely revitalised under Lee Bowyer. Now, this does tend to happen a lot for Birmingham at the end of each season. They tend to have a real good end, and you think to yourself, well, why couldn't they do that early on in the season? Then they would have been in the promotion places, but no, that's not how it works for them. They did lose 4-0 last time out to Cardiff. But then again, it is Cardiff. But then again, at the same time, they beat Swansea and Reading. So, yeah, it's a bit weird, that. So, I think given that, and the fact that they drew Forest as well, and if you can't beat Forest this season, you can't be that good, I'm going to say this is going to be a 1-1 draw. Blackburn 1, Birmingham City 1. The second game, Bristol City versus Brentford. Bristol are absolutely dreadful right now. Down to 19th in the table, Brentford up in 3rd. No wins in 10 for Bristol City, which is horrendous. But as for Brentford, honestly, even though they got the playoffs up in 3rd, I think they'll be quite frustrated because they've drawn 15 times this season. Of course, not even that long ago, they had drew like 4 in a row against teams that they should have been beating. One of them against Forest. They drew with Derby, for God's sake. If you can't beat Derby, then you don't deserve to go up. Drew with Huddersfield, teams that they should have been quite comfortably beating. So Brentford might be quite frustrated that they're not in that top 2 bracket. I can only see this going one way, to be honest. I'm going to go 3-0 to Brentford. Yeah, I know. Watford against Swansea City. One of these teams already are in the Premier League next season. Congrats to Watford. Swansea, of course, are just, waiting until the playoffs start. They've been quite inconsistent of late, Swansea. 1 minute they look terrible, then they look great. They beat Millwall 3-0, but they lose to Birmingham. It's all over the place for Swansea right now. In ways, it's kind of a dead rubber, but at the top of the table, I think Watford will edge it. I'm going to go 1-0 to Watford. Now, a massive game coming up next. Cardiff City against Rotherham United. Rotherham cannot score goals. Okay, that's their main issue. Their recent games, what I notice about them is they often just get edged out 1-0. Rotherham will be absolutely desperate to win this. If they win this and Derby lose, they will survive and stay in the Championship. And that will somewhat get rid of the motto that they're a yo-yo team, and I'm pretty sure they'll want to get rid of that. As for Cardiff, they're such a weird side. They had a really poor start to the season, first half of the season in fact. Then they got rid of Neil Harris, they got in Matt McCarthy. They had an insane run of form right up into the playoffs, the form team in the league at one stage. And then they go and lose to Forest and get absolutely battered by Sheffield Wednesday, who are in the relegation zone and still are. Cardiff should be getting playoffs next season. I think I said they'll get it this year. And I'll find out for sure in about a week or so's time where I'll react to my predictions like every YouTuber does. So, yeah, stay tuned for that because it'll be quite embarrassing. I know for sure that my team's position will be... We don't even have to talk about it. I want to skip that, to be honest. I somehow forgot to say my prediction, but I'm going to go for 1-0 to Cardiff. I think Rotherham will fight really hard, but they just won't have quite enough in them. Alright, on to another game then. A little bit of a dead rubber, really. Coventry City against Millwall. If I was a Coventry fan, I'd be pretty happy with this season. Coventry are in pretty decent form, I suppose. They won 3 in a row not that long ago and basically kept themselves up. Millwall only 1 win in 5, and that was a 4-1 win against Bristol City last time out. I can only really see this being like a 1-0, 1-1, because neither team have really got much to play for. Being as it is at Coventry, I'll say 1-1. It is 17th against 11th. On to one of the deadest games you could possibly imagine on a last day. 16th against 13th, Nottingham Forest against Preston North End. Forest have been absolutely horrendous this season, as we all know. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Preston, it's been a very Preston kind of season, really. They got rid of their manager in Alex Neil after quite a few years. I think it was about time that they moved on from him as well. I think I would be a little bit disappointed if I was a Preston fan this season. They could have done a lot better, in my opinion. They've not got the best squad. I know they did lose players like Ben Pearson, of course, in the January transfer window, which didn't help them out in the slightest, to say the very least. However, though, their recent form, 3 wins in a row and not conceded a single goal. So that's got to put them in good stead going into this final game against the team with nothing to play for. Forest, no wins in 5, not won since we beat QPR on, what was it, Easter Monday? Yeah, we're now in March? I didn't even say March properly. We're now in May. I can't talk. I really can't. I don't want to predict this, but I could see this being 1-0 to Preston. I really could. Preston haven't conceded a goal in 3. They've won 3 in a row. We haven't won in ages. We've got absolutely nothing to play for. I think it will be either 1-0 to Preston and we'll absolutely dominate possession in every way, but we'll lose. We've been there many times before. Or we'll get a lucky draw. I've not got much faith, and quite frankly, I don't really care. But I'm going to go 1-1. I don't want to predict us to lose. Derby County versus Sheffield Wednesday. The game that we all care about. I think everyone is going to be watching this game at the weekend. I told you, my watch-along is literally going to be basically Derby v Wednesday. It's hardly going to be Forest. I just know it. Derby on 43 points in 21st place. Rotherham on 41. And then we've got Wednesday and Wycombe on 40 points each. So if Wednesday win, they've only got 1 better goal difference than Derby. Then they go ahead of them. However, it could very well mean nothing if Rotherham beat Cardiff. So technically this game, Wednesday could win. And what it would guarantee is Derby would get relegated, which is what we care about. But it may not even guarantee Wednesday staying up. So it is an incredibly strange situation. They could win and, you know, they could also get relegated with Derby if Rotherham win. So it's such a weird... It's going to be so interesting and it's going to work out. Derby have lost their last 6 games and bottled leads in the last 2 as well, much to my delight. Wednesday can at least score a little bit more often, but by not much. From what I saw against them with Forest, they could have won that game 3-0 if they had better strikers. I am not going to ever predict Derby to stay up, and I'm not being biased. I think Wednesday... I am being biased. I think Wednesday... And I could see this happening. We'll win 1-0. Alright, a few more games to go then. Reading against Huddersfield Town. 7th against 20th. If I was a Reading fan, I'd be quite happy with how the season's gone. 7th when you were 14th last year and even lower than that the year before. But then again, you could have quite easily got playoffs as well. It probably is a little bit of a mixed feeling really for you. Huddersfield were doing pretty well at one stage, of course, but conceding 7 goals is enough for instant relegation, to be honest. So they deserve to go down, even though they can't. So, you know, I don't know why I said that. It is a bit of a dead rubber. I'll go 2-0 to Reading. Bournemouth against Stoke. Again, it doesn't really mean much because Bournemouth have got the playoffs up in 5th. Stoke in 14th. They dropped right off, to be honest. I think Stoke should be a little bit disappointed with how their season's gone. I think everyone thought they'd improve, but in the end, they're going to finish roughly where they finished last year, of course. I'm pretty surprised with Bournemouth, though, that Jonathan Woodgate has done so well. Fair play to them. I did not think that he was the right man at all. Maybe he will get the permanent job next season if they go up. Bournemouth, I think they'll get the job done here. 2-0. QPR versus Luton Town. 9th against 12th. 2 teams that have had very good seasons, to be honest. Obviously, QPR, like I pointed out earlier, did pretty poor the first half of the season, but they have been a completely different side the second half of the season. Quite inconsistent, though, at times. They go from being battered to battering someone to being battered and repeat. It's just weird with QPR. Luton obviously have done very well this season. I think the survival that they pulled off last year when no one really expected that has definitely helped them out. They just carried on. Fair play to them. I could see this being a draw, but I'm going to edge it 2-1 to QPR. 2 more games to go then. Middlesbrough against Wycombe Wanderers. Obviously, Boro in 10th. They've been pretty good this season, but they've also been a bit meh at times. They've obviously done better than last year where they nearly got relegated, of course. Wycombe, obviously, they've been in the relegation zone pretty much the whole year and bottom for an awful long time as well. I think really at the end of the day, they just didn't have the quality to stay up. They've really put in a fight recently. I think if they played that this a little bit earlier on in the season, they probably would stay up, to be quite honest. Wycombe can technically stay up, but they'll need to win 11-0. So... yeah, they're basically relegated, really. However, I don't think they'll make it an easy job for Boro. I'm going to actually be quite conservative here and say 1-0 to Middlesbrough. And the final game, Barnsley against Norwich City. 6th place against 1st. Who the hell thought that this game would have been 6th against 1st? You would have thought, yeah, easy for Norwich. But no, Barnsley have been absolutely mental this year, proving a huge amount of people wrong. I would like to see them go up just to see if they can actually stay up. I personally don't think they'll have a chance if they get promoted, to be honest. I know it's easy to write them off. They cannot get 100 points, unfortunately, but they can get 99. They've been absolutely fantastic this season, Norwich, but one thing that they definitely need to do is get a backup, and a proven backup to Timu Pukki, because obviously he is fantastic, but where they struggled last year in the Premier League is they didn't have anyone to help them out, really, if they didn't have Pukki. Maybe someone next to Grant Hanley, who's been great this season, of course. I think they definitely need to short their defence and attack if they want to try and stay up next season. But as for the game, I'm going to go for 2-1 to Norwich City. Alright, that is the video. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. They're my predictions for the final match week of the Championship season 2020-21. Like I hinted at the start, I am definitely considering doing this next season for every game week, because I'm thinking of maybe not doing a career mode next year. If I do, I might do it a little bit differently, but I want to still have something that I can do like every week, because it's just, you know, I think any YouTuber likes to have something that they can rely on. If you want me to do this next season, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Only about 5 away from 1.6 thousand subscribers, so please hit the like and subscribe button. You Reds, see you very soon.